Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Nick.
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 Shane.
Hi, I'm Nick.
No, I'm Shane.
What's up, everybody? What's up? And this is the Nick and Shane Show. I'm Nick Wildstar, and this is my wonderful, lovely, bald-headed friend here. he's resembling how I usually should look. So
There we go.
Shane Driscoll in the house, everybody.
Thank you. I don't think anybody's referred to me as lovely in quite some time, so I appreciate that.
You are indeed. You know, you're pleasant to the
Why,
eye.
thank you, sir. I
Pretty
find
sure
you to be
people
quite
watch
wonderful as well.
Oh, thank you. I've been in Zoom meetings all day, and this is my so, anybody that's watched my videos on YouTube, like, hey, I know that blazer there.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, we're here with the very special Nick and Shane show. This is pre-recorded. I know you guys are probably watching all disappointed and all of that.
Right.
But yeah, I'm actually going to be attending an event tomorrow. I got invited to this, which is a Everything COVID Follow the Science event. And it's being hosted by Mama Bears United here in Fresno. The guest speaker is Dr. Peter McCullough, who will be there talking to us about this whole coronavirus vaccine, program deal, whatever the case may be.
Is he the one that was just on Joe Rogan's show?
I believe so, yes. So he'll be there tomorrow. I don't know if tickets are sold out, but if you are in the neighborhood, this is why I couldn't do the show, is because it starts at 7. So
Yep. No, this definitely takes priority. Have you listened to
What's that?
You know who you're going to see here?
Yes, absolutely. I've been invited by one of the Mama Bears, so they have an extra ticket and was like, "Hey, Wildstar, why don't you come?" You know, they were part of the Recall Newsom signature gathering team here in town, so we kind of know each other. We've grown as a community.
Yeah, if this doctor is who I think he is.
Thank you, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
You brought us together.
Upside, man.
For you. But go ahead.
Yeah, if this guy is who I think he is, right? He is trying to point out that it's early detection, early treatment that saves lives, not vaccines. It's like when you detect it early and you start using drugs like ivermectin or hydrochlorine Clorox or whatever it is called, whatever the drug du jour is.
Not Clorox, don't drink.
Whatever. Tide Pod, rub on your forehead to, it's I don't mind the disinformation. That was clearly disinformation.
Right.
You can't tell. Yes, there's something wrong with you.
If you need to be told that, something's wrong with you.
Yes, that's right. I see you're sitting there sweating like, damn it, Shane, you're going to get me kicked off YouTube again.
Right.
Oh yeah, no. All jokes. Anyhow, no, he advocates for the early treatment. It's just an interesting perspective because he's got some interesting statistics that favor early treatment.
I don't think I've seen too many interviews about him. I just kind of seen them in passing with the Joe Rogan interview that you were talking about, but I haven't checked it out yet. So it'll be interesting to see what the guy is talking about tomorrow.
Oh man. All right. On a personal note, then you may have to give me a call when you're all done with that.
All right, for sure.
I think you're gonna be pretty fired up.
That's good to know. I mean, because in this time of disinformation, we need more professionals stepping up to the plate to speak the truth, even if it does go against status quo.
Oh yeah.
We shouldn't be shaming, people out there for wanting to hear more information before they, do something that's irreversible.
Yep.
Um, so we should be left that liberty to go out there and again learn as much information as possible before making any personal choice. So I congratulate the ladies for putting it together, this event, and I'm very thankful to have been invited. So I don't want to disappoint. Take them up on their offer and be there. And I thank you guys for being here. So does Shane, because we've been at this like over 2 months now.
This
This
is our
is still
this
number
is our
9.
like ninth or 10th episode. Yeah. Yes.
We
Yeah, they pile up, man.
did good, like a Marvel series, or Game of Thrones. 9 good episodes, and then we're done.
Right.
We'll be back next year.
Yep. No, we did it. We did it. So today's episode is going to be fun. We're going to talk a little bit about this whole we versus they thing, and who is they, and who are we, and what is all of this, and we throw around the term a lot, they, whether we're referring to the other side of the political spectrum or whether we're referring to the supposed experts out there that say that you shouldn't do this or you should do that. There's a lot of they, but who is they? Because we're always pissed off at they. And if we knew who they were, it might make things easier to deal with. Or if we knew who they were, it might give us, in my opinion, it would give us some perspective as to where we shouldn't be spending our time and energy. So
yeah, good. I agree.
But here's my thoughts, Nick, on they, and then I'll let you run with it here. But so my thoughts on they are, right, the people, they are anyone that the speaker perceives to be an authority. They could be government, they could be teachers, they could be parents, they could be, but they always suck, and they are usually in a position of authority.
I agree with that. The term they is, I guess, culturally identified as sort of like top of the hierarchy, and we, the people, being below them, So we have to adhere what they say or what they recommend or what they tell us to do. And it's stupid because, like you pointed out before, they are we're the ones appointing these people to their positions of authority, whether it be a medical professional, elected official, whatever the case may be. We're giving them that authority. And really, what I think it more so is we're giving them our trust. It's public trust gets taken for granted. But really, that's at the root of politics, because if you can't trust your public official or what they're saying to you and the information they're giving you, what good are they for? So public trust is really what's being given to these people. So we see them as being separate somewhat because of that. We don't recognize them as still being a part of us because of that presumed authority. It's disgusting. It's the world we live in. Instead of recognizing, again, they are a part of us, we are them, they are us. There is no higher than, lower than. We should all be equal to. But I think that's really a kind of a problem here in America, is seeing people as being equals. Really, all across the world, in some way, form, or shape, or another, there's an issue with treating everybody equally, I think that's where we kind of need to start, is figuring out the basics of how we can come to terms with living together peacefully, harmoniously, without demanding that someone be, under ruling authority of another.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the thing is this is that I think that we talk about they and we talk about them because I guess it's from my perspective, it's for two reasons. Number one, is that part of what we're saying when we say they suck. So, for instance, if you're a Democrat and you say Republicans suck, they, or vice versa, you're Republican and they suck over there on the other side. Look, you're 50% right. You're 50% right. The Republicans and Democrats do actually suck.
Yeah.
But the where you're 50% wrong is to blame them. And to your point earlier, you're the one who's giving them that authority.
Right.
You're the one who's putting them in power. You're the one. And I think as Americans, I think for the most part, we don't want to take responsibility. We don't want to look at it. We don't want to believe that. We want to believe that if I voted for the winner, then my vote counted and mattered. But that if I don't vote for the winner, then my vote didn't count at all. And it doesn't
Exactly.
matter at all. And it's like this zero-sum game. And because of that, people stay very much in their political lanes, man. You can't not vote. Look, yeah, I hate Republicans. They suck. But guess what? I hate Democrats more, so I will always vote Republican because I'll never vote Democrat. Or
I think that is a result more so of propagandizing, successful propagandizing, because let's just admit it, we have been conditioned to this dualistic way of thinking where it's, always in opposition.
how do you see through propaganda though? Ultimately, what do you have to do to see through the bullshit?
You got to be honest.
You got to be honest with yourself. Yeah. You got to take ownership.
Of
right?
course. Yeah.
It starts.
That's what I was saying. That trust, man. You're entrusting their asses, to be trustworthy. And if they fail to do so, you got to be honest with yourself to say, you know what, you fucked up. And because I don't want you fucking up anymore, I'm removing you from that position, or I'm not going to pay you any more of my attention because you're not worth it.
Right.
That can diminish their power just like that. Any social media influencer, they're in it because they want your attention. You know what I'm saying? You take away that attention, they're nothing.
Right.
So it's sad. I know people probably shocked because they're like, this is a deep ass conversation. This is more of one of our existential shows and shit, which is more of Shane's alley.
It is
more than mine.
Yeah, it is. But these things,
blame Shane.
Yeah, these things matter, man. Because at the end of the day, what we're really acknowledging, right, is that yes, of course, they exist. They are the bad guys, right? They're out there. There's millions of them, and they are among us. They are us in some respects. And at the end of the day,
gotta recognize they're the bad guy, and like they do in the movies, get rid of the bad guy. I don't think we're being responsible enough or honest enough with ourselves to say that, hey, even though they're wearing a suit, and they're looking all spiffy and cleaned up or whatever the case may be, they're a crook. And so they need to be criminalized for their actions, especially when it affects you. Right. A lot of people don't see how politicians' criminality or, even the elitists, because they're part of it too. We talk about crooked rich people and CEOs and crooked doctors now, with Fauci's ass, excuse me. But
right. We once had a president of this country who, before he was elected, one of the very first things he told the American people is that your government is corrupt. And I know it is because I'm the one who's been spending money corrupting it. And we actually elected that person as president. Yeah, that'd be Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. That's true. He kind of was honest about.
And that's the thing, right? That's why there will always be a they. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, right, like Donald, he flat out told everyone, yes, I know your government is corrupt. I'm the guy who's doing it. One of them.
I'm a part of them.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And people appreciated, if anything, his honesty, I guess. They felt like because of that, he's really going to do something about it
Oh,
versus just, confirming what you already know, that they're
right,
all, uh, in the same club at this
right.
oligarchy,
Yep,
and
yep.
we don't see these group of people as being part of that oligarchy. Even with okay, I hate to say this because I hope we don't get flagged. With this jab deal, okay, we're gonna call it that, the punch. All right,
Gotcha, gotcha.
the Kobe
Yep.
punch.
Of course.
All right. So even with that, you have celebrities coming out saying don't do it. All of this, politicians
Oh,
even saying don't do it before when Trump was in charge. Then they changed their tune once he left. Now, get the punch.
yeah.
ASAP. Uh, and it's crazy because you can see how they flip flop their principles simply based on political affiliation, that dual mentality. My opposition is in control or telling me to do something, so because of that, I'm going to protest against it. But if it's somebody that you can trust,
Mhm.
saying those same damn things, you throw all of that out the window.
Yeah.
So you saw it happen with the celebrities, basketball players, athletes, whatever the case may be, musicians, all of them flip flopped. Who stood true on those issues? You know what I mean? Who stood on the truth, even though it may have caused them to face scrutiny, to uh, be shunned by others. And,
Right.
and it's sad that that ends up having to be one of the consequences. But you know, for some reason, there's always a sacrifice when you're a messenger, especially when you're in the den of lies and thieves and whatever the case
Oh
may be.
yeah.
Like Ron Paul said, truth is treason in the empire of lies.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, it is. It is. And
So
and yeah. And by the way, it's treasonous according to they.
yeah,
They are threatened by the truth.
yes,
So
exactly,
yeah. And they
sadly.
are conservative, they are liberal, they are businesses, they are banks, they are government, they are and let me I need to pound this point home every chance I get. Yes, our politicians suck, but if you think they're bad, our public employees that have been planted in their positions for 20, 30, 40 years that
For a
have
lifetime,
absolutely no accountability,
yeah.
come on now. Come on now. Yes, politicians suck. Politicians are easily corrupted, but not nearly as bad
Let
as the
me
people
add,
who.
judges are appointed for life.
Yeah,
People don't
Supreme
think
Court.
about that at all. And you want to
Yep.
damn the justice system and all of what they're doing and the law enforcers who are
Mhm.
just doing their job, and you have judicial officials that have immunity, can't do no wrong, and they have their job for life. Try
Right.
removing a judge from their position of authority, you know? Uh,
Is it, and Nick, because I really don't know, because it may be different from state to state. The only lifetime appointment that I know of for a judge is the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court,
Yep.
um, in the state of California, it is. If they have elected officials,
Hmm.
or different elections for judges and stuff like that. But yeah, there are certain committee members that are elected or appointed for life, pretty much, or until they resign or something happens where they end up, getting exposed or whatever the case may be, which
Right.
usually still ends up in them retiring,
Right.
and collecting some pension or some shit. But it's sad that we do have those um, guarantees in government, period, across the board. There should never be a way for you to be have a public position for life or 20, 30 years like these senators do. I mean, it's really just a revolving door. There is no term limits on congressional body members, and there should be. If there is for a mayor or for a governor or a president. If they can only be elected so many times, I think the same thing should be applied to our Congress, city council, etc., on down the line. You know, um, but yeah, it's crazy because another aspect of they are the money masters. And I really feel like, those are the people we really should be paying attention to because they're the ones funding all of this bullshit.
Yep.
We don't. The average person doesn't know about Vanguard or BlackRock or whatever the case may be.
No.
Or the Rothschilds and the
Morgans
or
you start bringing up names like
Vanderbilts.
that. Yeah. Now you're going down conspiracy theory.
It's no conspiracy. It's factual information. Rockefeller purchased the fucking government. I mean,
it's too big, Nick. It's too big for people to wrap their heads around. Look,
oh my God. Yeah.
Think about it, man. When you think about how much attention our political system gets from the average American on a daily basis, right? What would the average American do? What do you think? How do you think? Like, we all deep down know, but what if we really acknowledged, if we really accepted the fact that our government is bought and paid for and is no longer represents us in any way, shape, or form, no longer represents our interests? I mean, look, foreign policy, are the American people represented in our forein policy? No. And when
the Trilateral Commission,
right. And you can make the case. Yeah, you could make the case that America's interests, right, haven't been represented in terms of national defense since, I don't know, the Civil War, the War of 1812. I don't know, but nobody's attacked us here in the United States.
So we don't see it as an attack.
Right. And that's not 100% true, right? Hawaii was attacked, World War II. But again, if you want to believe your 5th grade history textbook, sure, kids, that's what happened. Pearl Harbor was just out of the blue. No one saw it coming. It wasn't
right.
Yeah, no, that's what happened.
A way to occupy a territory and never leave. Claim it as yours.
That's what happened. The Japanese snuck right up on us. Didn't see them coming. Right out there in the middle of the friggin' ocean. Come on, kids. But most people do believe that. Most people believe that, that what they were taught in 5th grade about, World War II history is true.
Yeah,
that's because there's a they in the education system as well.
Exactly. Yeah, people don't realize also that they is the controlling the educational system that is keeping us misinformed.
Yep. So they is everywhere, Nick. What can we do about they?
I don't know. You've actually wrote something about it, so I guess we should probably read through it and find a solution somewhere in there.
I didn't. Here's the thing. I should preface this, man. Before we get started on this, I wrote this probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. And it was just thoughts that I like. If I wanted to be brutally honest and with myself about what am I saying when I say we? Because, well, let's go ahead and let's get into it. Let's discuss it, because it's just it's the first draft. It's just ideas and thoughts, and so
yeah. But all right, well, let's do this.
All right.
Are you sure? Says Shane Driscoll. We should, we need, we must, we will, we can, we have to. When it comes to American politics and the role of the government plays in our lives, Americans are presented with a problem, real or not, and then are presented with a solution that will always somehow incorporate the word we in it. We need a strong defense. We must end this racism garbage. We have to have a fair playing field. We can fix healthcare. We should be teaching our kids blah, blah, blah. When we say those things, what are we saying? More importantly, when we say those things, what am I saying? Look, I'm as guilty as the next guy in my liberal usage of the word we. We can be better people. We need to be better people. We should be better people. We must be better people. We will be better people because we have to be better people. And just like the examples I gave above, these statements on their face are something virtually every American would agree with. These are no-brainer statements that I think give us a false sense of righteousness as we utter them. Who could possibly disagree that racism must end or that we should be better people? But I have but have we given any real thought to what we're actually saying when we say we? I have, and I don't mean to be a buzzkill, but it's pretty ugly. I mean, it's really ugly. Let me give you an example of what I'm actually saying when I say we need a strong defense. Shane?
All right. So I'm a 47-year-old man whose fighting days are long behind him. I never joined the military. It never even crossed my mind. I wouldn't last an hour. I'm a father of 3 adult children, none of whom have served, and I'm actually very happy about that. But I still advocate for a strong defense. So what I'm really saying when I argue for a strong defense is that you should defend me. You should join the military. If someone has to die for my country, it should be you. And if not you, it should be your children. And I'm happy to say it won't be mine. Sure, if something crazy happened, like if we were invaded by Belize or Kyrgyzstan, I'd pick up a gun as quickly as the next guy, but I'm not signing up to make a life of it. I'm not volunteering to be on the front lines. I am, however, saying that as a part of we, you or your children definitely should be. But I still advocate for a strong defense. How ugly is that? Now, I can soften the blow. I can make my case. I can offer up words of praise, gratitude, and honor for those who have served, who are serving today. But I will now never be able to deny the truth. I want a strong defense, but I'm not actually willing to personally invest my blood, sweat, and tears into making it happen. Ouch. Am I even a decent person? If I was in the military or had family in the military, I'd have a tough time making the case for a guy like me. This is, in fact, a very nasty truth about what I'm actually saying when I say we need a strong defense. Actually, I do feel ashamed about this, and I think I should. There, I felt it, and I'm fully aware of this truth about myself. Now what? I'm still not going to go enlist, and I'm still happy my kids aren't in the military. Fortunately, I recognize a couple of other truths. The first one is that I'm grateful, I'm humbled, and I have a deep respect for our armed forces. That's why I advocate for a policy that mirrors those feelings. I want the world's best military, and I'm grateful we have it. But I want my military to be filled with people who are willing to die to protect my way of life, and I'm so deeply humbled by those who volunteer for it, regardless of their motivations. And because I respect them, I don't think we should send them to kill and die to protect my interests.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, my interests really aren't all that interesting. Oil and energy? What a snoozer. For the small amount of time we need for our oil dependency, we have plenty of it. Technology is already crushing it, and if there were actually a free market, we'd already be laughing at ourselves for our oil dependency. Isn't everything else, really just the corporate government protecting corporate interests? Isn't that what regime change, protecting our allies and spreading the American way of life to the world, really about? If only the American president had warned us. And then that's a link to that infamous speech by Dwight Eisenhower that kind of reminded us that probably shouldn't go down this road, but we went anyway.
Yeah, definitely be sure to check that out.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll take over at truth number 2.
Okay, perfect. So protecting just the borders will do nicely. Thank you very much. So what I'm trying to say here is that we don't need to have troops around the world. In fact, it's inappropriate. In fact, I'll take it a step further. It's cowardice to have our troops spread around the world, right, when we're not in times of war. And so protecting the borders will do just nicely. Thank you very much. I advocate for a military policy that respects the men and women of our armed forces, as well as their families. That this stats happens to align with someone like George Washington is purely coincidence. We all know that those guys were evil white idiots. And what would George Washington know about the military anyway? Yeah.
Truth number 2. I am not alone. 9 out of 10 people reading this are just like me, whether they want to admit it or not. 7.3% of America's population is either actively serving or has served. I think I'm being gracious when I estimate 2.7% of the population, around 7.5 million people, are dyed-in-the-wool patriots who want to serve but couldn't due to various life circumstances, which leaves 90% of us who, whether we're willing to be brutally honest with ourselves or not, would actively prefer someone else do our protecting and our dying for us. It's okay. We're normal, you and I. But being in such a significant majority comes with a more responsibility in a democracy. The people who volunteered to serve in our military are extraordinary and willing to make extraordinary sacrifices. At the very least, they're above average individuals, are they not? Perhaps national treasures? Shouldn't they be treated that way before we ask them to risk the ultimate sacrifice? We seem to at least pay lip service to caring after their service is over. So that's nice of us, I guess. Okay, now I've pissed you off, but let's not lose ourselves in my opinions. I'm not the president or governor. Haha. I'm not currently elected to any office. I don't see myself running anytime soon. I'm not even the boss of anyone at work. I'm a married man, so I'm only my own boss, like 40% of the time. The point is, if you disagree or if my brutal honesty upsets you, let it go. I don't have any actual power over you that you don't give me, right? My goal here was to trigger you. I want you to have that what the fuck moment. Like like it or not, when we say we actually mean you. Here's some more examples. Shane, you want to take it?
Sure. We need to end this racism garbage actually means you need to stop being racist according to my definition, which undermines the objective by taking away any useful meaning to the word racism. Or it means you need to shut up about racism and quit being so hypersensitive, which undermines the objective because sticking your head in the sand doesn't make problems go away. And never in the history of humanity has accusing someone of being hypersensitive ever resulted in a calm response. Ask any husband ever. We need to fix healthcare actually means you fix healthcare. Many younger people may not be aware, but America has been fixing our healthcare crisis for decades before it actually even existed. How do you think we've done so far? I,
Mhm.
sus- I suspect that answer depends on your socioeconomic status, doesn't it? In my opinion, that's a sign of abject failure at every level of government intervention on behalf of corporations. We is not the right solution for healthcare. We have to have a fair playing field. Actually means you need to give something up money, freedom, opportunity for my benefit, or it means you need to put more skin in the game, time, energy, and effort for my benefit. We've been relentlessly pursuing the myth of equality of outcomes for at least my entire lifetime. I think we're almost there, aren't we? No? Shocking. We need to educate our children actually means you need to educate their children or you need to educate my children. I love both arguments because they both recognize a very important truth. No parent should ever be responsible for their children's education. Parents provide food, clothing, shelter, and general health maintenance. They should not be asked to raise, discipline, discuss, get to know, or take time with their children. That's what daycares, kindergartens, schools, psychologists, psychiatrists, after school activities, and doctors are for. Supplemented with just the right amount of television, movies, and video games, our society has definitely proven not only do we need to continue to educate our children, but that our results have been nothing less than the best. Every generation agrees. That's all tongue in cheek, by the way.
Right.
And so I don't know about you, but I see a trend forming here. It seems like the people we've been outsourcing our problems to don't actually have any useful solutions. It's as if they don't actually know what's best for you or me or us. Perhaps it's time to stop being so dishonest with ourselves about what we mean when we say we. The dishonest use of the word we will never unite us. That's the nature of dishonesty. It corrupts whatever it touches. If we're truly interested in us, we should probably start endorsing ideas that allow me, myself, and I to solve our own problems or my own problems. A coherent and peaceful we requires cooperation, not force. I hope one day we'll see leadership in this country that reflects that.
Absolutely. Bravo, Shane.
Thanks, man.
Um, that's actually what I hope to be. I see I got something on my beard. I know
That's all right. I'm
my
not
wife
judging,
is
man.
gonna be like,
It's just you and I right now. We're
on
pre-recording
your
this.
beard. She picks on me for having things in my beard all the time. I'm like, I can't see down there. I mean, damn, what do you expect?
Right. The eye can't see itself.
Right. You make it easy for yourself over there. I gotta maybe do that one of these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I aspire to be, as one of those leaders, to show by example, by um, being part of that we the people. It's like we voters, you know, we hope that whenever a politician is elected into office, they're going to do what we say, and then once they do get elected, they don't. They
Yeah.
become them, and part of that whole hierarchy, that oligarchy again. So if they held true to the idea that you're talking about, that unified idea that I'm you and you are me, all of your problems, that I can't solve, I'm going to let you handle. But anything that we can agree on, and vice versa, of course, but anything that we can agree on to say, hey, we can come together and solve this issue so we can both live happier,
Right.
and more harmoniously, then those
Right.
are the things that should be delegated to those aren't individuals that we hire to deal with our problems that
Right.
we say, go and deal with this. This is your new job,
Right.
They're not doing their job, man. And it's a
No.
figure of, like we talked about before, they are losing the public's trust. They are losing the public's support. Hopefully, they soon lose the public's money. They lose
Yeah.
we people's money and financial support, because then they really don't have anything at all. They would only have that measure of force to impose their will upon us.
Yeah. Here's the thing, because we're gonna go back to they. I don't think,
It's all
I don't
intermingled.
think they are losing anything, and that's what concerns me. I suspect, and maybe I'm wrong, Nick, but I suspect that there's going to be record voter turnout for these midterm elections,
Mm-hmm.
which
Not in
means
California.
probably not, but nationwide. And
Other places, yeah.
yeah, and here's the thing that concerns me about that. If there's high voter turnout, it means that we, right, still believe in the institution of government to fix the things that the institution of government can only make worse.
Unless you elect abolitionists such as myself, you
Right?
need reformists. If they're not dedicated to that, then you're wasting your time and mine, and just repeating this same bullshit
Yes,
cycle again, like you're saying. You're relying on that system
yes.
to
So let
get
me
it
be
all this
let
shit.
me be brutally honest here. When I say we need to vote libertarian, I'm saying you need to vote libertarian,
Right.
because I'm already gonna.
Right. Yeah, that's true. We need to revolt against the system. However, we can do that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm past that point where I'm telling people just to vote libertarian.
of course.
To me, if you vote libertarian, you're voting on the libertarian principles versus the libertarian
Yes,
party or labeling or whatever
yes,
the case may be, having that
yes.
L next to your name.
Yeah,
Um, we look at candidates based on their libertarianism, then I think we can change politics, because across the scope, whether it be Republican or Democrat or Libertarian or Green or whatever the case may be, we
right.
need more libertarianism in our society. How do we accomplish that? How do we achieve that? By combating against this two-party system, that dualistic, propagandizing. Again, we're all brainwashed into believing works for us. We got to focus on just that one facet of human character and if you don't possess that, you're not getting our support,
Yeah. Look, man, if we want to look, if America's comfortable with a two-party system, maybe what we should do is we should have the Progressive Party, which would be Republicans and Democrats and Greens and anyone else who considers them progressive. And then we should have the American Libertarian Party.
Isn't that what the Libertarian Party is?
What, American?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What you're saying is, if we can grab all of those people across the board, regardless of political affiliation, put them in all one room, then that would be what we have. That's actually what I'm doing with the People's Party Coalition, coming at you guys soon. So,
good, man.
Plan on accomplishing is, if we can promote each other, just have something agreed upon that base foundation, then we got something to build on. And hopefully the community will support us in our partnership, in our alliance, and working with each other to, again, in better society. So, we talk about it. We really couldn't do it. We got to focus on it. And we got to utilize the power and resources that we have available to us to make it happen. We don't have to rely on them to do it for us. We can do it ourselves. And then once we do that, we'll be able to clearly make the distinguishment between who is for us and who is for themselves. I think that's what this Web 3.0 thing is all about, because it kind of transitions the internet into the hand and decentralizes it and puts it into the hands of we the people. And
tell me about Web 3.0. What is this?
Well, it's just empowerment of the people. I mean, this is an aspect of it. People are watching us right now.
Gotcha. All right.
But this is the new news, and they're the promoters. They're the creators.
Right.
By simply, again, shifting your attention from those who don't deserve it to those who do. The financial aspect comes in through cryptocurrency, and that's where it establishes, a independent economy that's not being controlled by them. It's being controlled by us. Right. So it's an empowerment of we the people through use of the internet, and I think we've yet to figure out how we can do that, because every time that we've tried, the powers that be, them, the big money people, the monopolies, they came in and capitalized on it. They claimed it as their own, like social media. There used to be so many different social media platforms until Facebooks, the Facebooks came along, or Twitter even, So instead of just being reliant upon one provider, we will be the provider. So I'm excited about it. This whole NFT thing. I don't know if you've heard about that.
The non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a way for us to build that revenue, and create that economy. It's a product that we're now using more frequently, and that circulation of currency is what's going to build the value of that crypto of choice, and that's going to, of course, keep us in the game. And that's what we want. We want to be able to have equal footing, we just got to establish that ourselves. And with regards to the military, man, I agree with you there also. It's sad because we got to be honest. We're afraid. We really respond to our fears more than our courageousness, because if we were really the home of the brave, then we wouldn't have a military. It'd be
we would
country.
Here. Yeah,
we wouldn't have a military, but they'd be here. They would be all scattered all across the country, occupy, foreign lands and borders and, neighborhoods, and causing this collateral damage that at some point is going to create blowback that in your face. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
you're right. And if we were brave enough to defend ourselves, to protect ourselves, instead of being reliant upon others to do it for us, we wouldn't have a police force, a standing army like that. We wouldn't have to worry about rogue law enforcers. They'd be more accountable. You can
yeah.
have private service protection services, and that's where the libertarian aspect comes in with the free enterprise, because now you're decentralizing that protective services aspect of community, which is monopolized by unions and the ones that benefit from it.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Even with a military industrial complex, reason why it keeps going
Mhm.
is because there's people that benefit from it. We don't. Like you
It,
said, you would
yeah,
rather not have to send somebody else's kid to die. But some corporate lobbyist that wants to protect their interests or whatever the case, they could care less. You
exactly.
know,
Exactly. Yep.
I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but
That's all right, man. I'm with
you
you.
did it,
I'm with
James.
you.
I'm blaming you. But yeah, this is a good conversation because I think this is also a way that we can kind of um, get over the whole divide and conquer that's been done, unify. If we can clearly identify who our enemy is, then that gives us an opportunity to again come together, put aside all of our differences. Oh shit, and knock shit down. Anyway,
You are, man, you are on a roll.
that we did that here in California with Newsom. People unified to say, let's get his ass out of office. It was a beautiful thing before the media got involved.
Yeah.
And people got to realize the corporate media is a part of that octopus of them.
Hey.
It's,
Yeah.
it's an
Yeah.
R, but it's like R.
They are
That's why I
everywhere.
got
Look,
kicked off of YouTube. Shit.
yeah, man. Look, I would say this, right? It's important to recognize that they do in fact exist. We should acknowledge it. They are there. The case that I'm trying to make is that they also don't matter. They only matter because you let them matter. We
Right.
let them matter. I let them matter, right? Otherwise, these people are utterly irrelevant. These institutions are irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
They only matter because we subjugate ourselves to it. That's it.
Yeah.
When we stop doing that, right? And again, right, I know that's a scary thing to say to people, right? But when we, and what I mean by we, when I say we, is all of us, including me, when we stop subjugating ourselves to this system, when we decide that we're going to, whatever it is, right? It's different for all of us. But for me, right? I'm dedicated to everything that I can. I am trying my best not to get just a regular everyday job again, right? And it's not because I don't want to work. I'm willing to work my ass off. Actually, I think I'm a pretty hard worker, right? But I just, any little thing I can do to unplug from the system when we get a chance. Obviously, anytime we can grow our own food. We have planters out on our balcony right now. They're empty because it's December, but everything that we can do to divorce this system, to step away from it, that is what we're doing. And when enough of us exist, and it's all going to look different. Every single individual person's divorce from the system is going to look different because we all have different dependencies on it. But identify, that's what I would identify your dependencies on they and break those. Fight your dependencies. Don't fight they. If you need government for income, find a way to find income elsewhere. If you need government for healthcare, find a way to take care of yourself otherwise. Whatever that dependency is, break that.
Yeah.
And what is it, 90%? If you need government for food, right? Find a different place to get food. Find a different way. There's all sorts of solutions out there for food, kids. I can tell you that. So there's figure that out, because that's the real enemy. They aren't the enemy, right? The power that you give them, the dependency you have on them, that is the enemy.
Yeah, I think you're right, because they can always pull the plug, and then you're shit out of luck.
Right.
But
Well, if Yeah, if you think about it from a libertarian standpoint, right? If we had everything we wanted as libertarians today, government would be literally a tiny fraction of what it is. And then everybody in the country would be left to go, oh, wait, what are we supposed to do? What about this problem? What about that problem? And people would be confused because they're used to looking to authority for answers.
Right.
Now, you and I know we have enough faith in humanity that we recognize that, whoa, don't panic because there's somebody who's like 5 degrees of acknowledgement away from you who knows how to solve this problem, who can help you solve this problem, right? It's local. Your answers are always going to be local.
Right.
You know, but you'd have chaos. You'd have chaos if you just got rid of the government the way libertarians want to.
And not truly. I think it would be a truly anarchical society, which would be a beautiful thing.
Look, I'm excited for it when it gets to a point where there's enough libertarians to elect somebody at the national level. I'll start being open-minded about it. But again, right? We don't have any governors. We have like, I mean, it's not like libertarians aren't getting elected, but right. But they haven't been elected yet.
Yeah.
And until they are, going out there and to me as a libertarian and saying, oh yeah, the libertarian utopia is to just get rid of this shit, man. Get rid of government altogether. And, that's a really bad sales pitch.
I introduce it as practicality. You know, I relate it to where if people see how it's going to benefit them, then they'll be more supportive of it. For instance, while I was campaigning, I went on this radio show talking about disbanding, different government agencies. The interviewer asked me because he went on my website, and I said I wanted to get rid of all of these different, government agencies. One of them being the DMV. He's like, "You would get rid of the DMV?" I'm like, "Absolutely." Look at what they've done since they've been in operation under the government. They can still exist as a private entity. They just won't be, again, a government, a governing body over you and your rights. So you have the natural right to travel. I can't, capitalize on that or codify that. But that's exactly what the DMV has done. If you want to go there and choose to do so, on your own, then all power to you. If you want to register your car and pay monthly for it, you might have car insurance companies that offer it. But I say, look at what the DMV in California has done. They've even sold. There's news cases of the DMV selling off people's private information. Okay, over 100 million people, or what was it, like 10 million people? I'm always throwing a zero on there. It was like over 10 million people here in California. They sold their information. I think they made over like $100 million, in selling this information. And it's like, if you want to blame any scam agency for selling your information, look at no further than your damn local DMV. They're selling private information under the table, and that's a great reason to get rid of their asses, or in that partnership, that relationship to where, again, you're required to obtain that.
Look, we know the libertarian take on licensing, right? Licensing is just government stealing your right from you and selling it back.
You're right.
Yeah,
and that's another way that you can get people to be supportive, is just to say, hey, you got the natural right to go out there and fish. That's the God-given right, human right to go out there.
But Nick, do you have the right to say you're a doctor? Can you just go out there and say you're a doctor?
No, but I can if I want to. But who would take me seriously unless I had a way of proving so? That's just the obvious.
If I chose to take you seriously and I came to you for treatment for, a broken thumb.
And if I fix your thumb, would you not be convinced that I'm a doctor?
I would be quite satisfied.
All right. Now, whether I got a piece of paper saying I've been approved officially as being a doctor is another story. If that convinces you more than my actions, because people go to the doctor and they never see their damn credentials.
Not only do they not see the credentials, people go to the doctor looking for a cure and don't even get that. They just get a medication.
That's what I'm saying. That trust, man. Yeah, we put too much trust in them.
But those guys are allowed to call themselves doctors in hospitals.
Well, we got to get out of here. Speaking of but
all right.
Our time is counting down. But speaking of counting down, New Year's is around the corner. So happy New Year's to all of you. Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, anti-holiday, winter solstice, whatever you celebrate, do it, just celebrate. That's what's key, is that we raise the vibrations raise our vibrations on this planet, to a higher vibration. And we can respond to that as human beings, versus being low vibrational and high vibrational. We shouldn't have to explain what that is or what that looks like. You should know,
Yes.
And I think universally, that's what's needed on this planet right now. So take advantage of the moment, raise your vibrations, raise other people's vibrations. Let's get high, y'all. You like that, Shane?
I do, man. I do. And all those things that Nick just said, same thing for me. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that. Yeah, man, looking forward to 22. It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think it's a rise of the people coming around the corner. And if anything, next year will be a great way to propel that forward. We may have some events that be a catalyst for that, but it's definitely brewing,
Yep.
And it's about time it comes to surface. So we'll see what happens next year. We'll be back then, Nick and Shane, right here on the Nick and Shane Show.
Have a good one, everyone.
Yeah, check us out. Social media, connect right there. Governor Wildstar, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, right there. Yeah, something like that. He's showing you. And if you're watching on YouTube, definitely please be sure to subscribe. That's going to help us build our audience, increase awareness, outreach, all that good stuff. And we need you to make that happen. So click like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good shit. And we'll see you guys next time. Long live liberty.
Peace.
Let me get all of the intros and shit. Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Nick.
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 Shane.
Nick. 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 Nick.
Shane. Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Hi,
Shane.